Hi, as most of you may know, my name is Brendan Parrish, and in our country's history, we had a little dispute called the American Civil War. Let me set the scene for you. The year was 1863, and in the United States, what is considered to be the most important battle of the Civil War was in the works. The general of the Confederacy, Robert E. Lee, led his troops to Pennsylvania after a victory over the Union. Lee's plan was to go on the offensive to get recognition from Britain and France. Now, on the Union side, President Lincoln just appointed Major General George Gordon Meade to be put in charge of these troops. The Major General instantly made his troops pursue Lee's army, who were already nearby. When Lee found out the Union troops were heading towards them, he planned for his troops to assemble in Gettysburg. On July 1st, a Union Corps under the control of Winfield Scott Hancock and 3 more Union Corps arrived to help the defenses at Cemetery Ridge. To the hill known as Little Round Top, on July 2nd, Daniel Sickles finally made the call to open fire on Union troops. Over the hours the fight went on, from the rocks that are also known as Devil's Den to the Peach Orchard, the fight stretched even further to the nearby wheat field. To Little Round Top, the Union kept Little Round Top but lost the Peach Orchard, Devil's Den, and the wheat field. Both sides lost more than 9,000 or more casualties on that day. Over those 2 days, the casualties ended up at a total of 35,000. On July 3rd, the final day of the battle, the Union was able to fend off a Confederate threat against Culp's Hill. After 7 hours of fighting those soldiers on the Confederate side, Lee had thought that his troops were on the brink of victory. Lee made the decision to send 3 divisions and artillery barrage to fight the Union troops on Cemetery Ridge. Led by George Pickett, Lee ordered an attack, and the troops went forward at 3 p.m. The Union infantry openly fired on Lee's troops, and the rebels were firing at them from both of their flanks. This act is later known as Pickett's Charge and killed 2/3 of those men. The Battle of Gettysburg finally came to an end when Lee and Longstreet fled to the shore after the failed charge, and the Confederate withdrew his army towards Virginia, leaving the Union victorious. So why is the Battle of Gettysburg so important? The battle left the Confederacy crushed and killed over 1/3 of Lee's army. Lee was so crushed that he resigned from his position, but was refused. The Battle of Gettysburg single-handedly turned the tide of the war by leaving the Confederacy hopeless. Now, fast forward to November 19th, 1863. President Abraham Lincoln delivered the speeches of all speeches at Gettysburg battlefield titled the Gettysburg Address. Lincoln, in his speech, transformed the Union causes into a speech about liberty and equality in a fascinating 272 words. Now, we are going to let a few of our peers join us so they can explain how they feel about the Gettysburg Address.
So, from what I remember about the Gettysburg Address, is that it was a super important thing, right? The address has an impact because of how important it was and is now. It was a speech about equality and made people realize that we aren't divided anymore. It kind of concluded the war.
The Gettysburg Address is an important speech in our country's history. I know a lot of people say this, but the address really made equality a big thing. Lincoln made the Union the powerhouse that it should be, but it also made the Union a more defined way for the country to live. The Union was the morally right way to run the country. The Union made everyone have equal rights and it treated everyone the same. That's why I think that Gettysburg Address is so important.
Gettysburg Address is interesting because of a lot of things, but one thing that makes it specifically interesting is the fact that it came after the war and Gettysburg, not during or before the war, but after, unlike many other speeches about wars.
And the speech kind of brought everyone together. It made everyone in the country feel equal, that we were together again under the Union's rules. So yeah, the Gettysburg Address is really interesting.
Should I start like this?
Important.
Okay. Bro, it's not that hard.
A lot of people say this, but the address really made it
Look at me. Address.
Address?
Not address.
Oh, that's the man from Game of Thrones. Battle of Gettysburg. Okay, we're good. Just start it again.
Get in your position.
I'm in my position. Okay, I'll just take